G'day, this is Sam. He's a 6-month-old quarter horse colt. He's been gelded, and I just want to show you guys, a lot of people don't have a round yard or something like that where they can sort of get a young horse started on a bit of groundwork, and I like to put a little bit of groundwork on them early. It makes things a lot easier later. It tunes the handling up a little bit. Now, I'd like to emphasize that this is not exercise. I don't run horses this age round and round on never-ending circles. It's not good for them. But I do like to get a little bit of ground handling on them. It's you know, imperative later on, and it just helps them understand that, you know, where they're at with the halter and the rope, and how to understand what we're asking of them when we start to push them around. And especially if you haven't got a yard to work in. This guy, I've halter broken him in the yard. He's sort of just given the pressure a little bit with that halter. Still a little bit of resistance there, you know. I can yield his hind end a touch, you know, but he really hasn't got a lot on him. And, you know, I've got him backing up. He understands how to give to that halter in that direction. We put enough on him to get him in the float. He's probably had about 4 hours of handling in his life. So, you know, what I'd like to do is maybe just show you some basics. And you know, one of the things people say to me often is, "Oh, I've tried to start my horse doing groundwork or lunging, and I can't get him to go around. You know, he just doesn't understand it, and he's pulling and fighting." And the idea is, don't get in a fight with your horse. So how I like to start them off is, I'll stand on the side that I want to move the horse to. I'm going to take him short. It's no good me putting him out on this rope and chasing him, you know. He'll get sort of worried about it and start to pull. I'll get rope burn. I probably won't get rope burn, but, you know, I'm on this size. But if it was a bigger horse, you know, you really don't want to get in that situation. So keep some control and put some little basics on there to get them going. So I want him to move his shoulders that way straight off the bat. I want him to learn that he has to move around me, not past me and not over me. So I'm going to pick him up, and I'm going to put some pressure on there like this, pick that rope up, and when I can get him to move his shoulders over and step forward, I'll release. Okay, so that's the start of him going round. You know, just a little step, but here we go again. Pick up, he's going backwards, he's moving, I'm just going to follow him. I'm not going to get in a fight with him. That was a nice step forward, nice move forward. Here we go again. I'm going to pick up. He'll get this very quickly. Look at that. That was worth a release. There we go. Good. Pick up, and it's his shoulder I'm looking at. You know, I'm not trying to drive him forward from behind or anything like that. You know, I want to keep him with me, and I'll just follow that shoulder around, you know, and I'll keep it as low key as I can until I get something. I don't want to chase him, so I'll pick up. You know, he's leaning back there, good. So, you know, all I'm doing is making what I want just a little less hard to do than, well, I'm making what I don't want not get him a result. If he wants me to leave him be and drop that pressure, he has to move forward. Very, very simple process. What happens is, a lot of people want the end result. You know, look at that. A lot of people want the end result before they get the little bits they need to start, and they get themselves in trouble. You know, that guy just worked around me, did a pretty nice lap. We'll do a little bit the other direction. I'm going to pick up. Now I'm standing over to his right. I'm not going to get out here and try and chase him that way. I'm going to show him and open that shoulder up, work on that shoulder and push it. Send him away. I'm not going to grab him when he gets out there, you know, through fear of him running. I've got a nice long rope. I'll try and just let it feed out and, you know, let him discover what he needs to do to get a release. If I go grabbing him every time he moves away, I'm going to be in trouble. When when I ride my horses, I don't ride with my legs out over the back of the horse. If I pick up on him and look at the hind end, I want that to yield away. So, you know, that's how I would stop him. And for a good deal of time when I ride a young horse, you know, or the first few rides, that would be how I would slow my horse or stop him, is by yielding that hind end until he slows down, so I don't get in a fight in a straight line with my horse. You know, it keeps things calm. Give him somewhere to go. Don't make him feel trapped. That's pretty nice, you know. I'll just cluck, add a bit of pressure, and I'm looking, I'm focused just behind his shoulder, where my legs would be. I'm going to pick up. We're going to go straight back into that look at the shoulder and lead him across mode there. That's pretty nice. I'll just walk off, let him yield that hind end away. We'll ask him to come up. Good. Let's go this way. Good. You know, he's starting to get the idea pretty good there, you know. You want a little bit on him first before you bring him out and try and do this. You want him to understand how to give to that holder a little bit. This guy, you know, he's only just got enough on him to do that, but it's enough. There's nothing to stop you going a little longer and doing a little bit more to get him more ready to do this. You know, if you're timing and feel, and you know, if you're not good at putting just enough pressure on and not too much, and backing off when you need to, then the better you prepare him in a yard, the better off you'll be. Okay, I'm going to pick him up, lead him out. He wants to go backwards, I'll just follow him. There we go. So I've given him a method of finding a way of getting me to drop that pressure. I've given him the tools he needs to get me to drop that pressure. So really he's doing that because he's invented a really groovy way of getting me to not focus on his shoulder and add pressure anymore. There it is, you know. So what we end up with is the horse doing it because they want to do it. I'll lead him out here, focus behind his shoulder. Good. When he's going nice, I'll bring my hand back in, I'll lead him out there, see if I can steer him round a bit. You know, he's bothered with his head there a little bit. Don't get in a fight with that. Just work him. Okay, I'm going to take that hind end away. See if I can lead him up a little. I'll go backwards here. Good. Pressure on his shoulder. Good. You know, he's starting to understand that from way out here. He's skipping along as they do. He's probably had a shot there. I'll bring him back in. Normally I would just keep following. Here we go. Pick him up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go. Here we go. There, he's leaning on that. I'll just add pressure and follow him. Do not try and out-muscle him. Just keep it nice and soft and steady. I'll bring him round this way. Add some pressure. See if I can get him to start to turn nicely. So I'll bring him round. I'm going to focus on his bum when I want him to turn. Step back, see if I can get him to come forward before the turn. Good. See if I can get him to come forward here before the turn. That was beautiful. Good boy. See if I can get him to come forward before the turn. Good. Because I don't want to create a horse that's going to unlock its hind end every time I want to turn it. You know, that's for slowing and stopping. But if I just want him to turn, I want a nice, smooth, keep coming, turn. Beautiful. Yeah, look at that. He's starting to pick a lead up there. If they go to canter, don't stop him, follow him. I don't want to be shutting my horse down all the time. When he says, I want to go, and I shut him down, you know, there's a big conflict there. So just have him working quite, you know, quite openly and let him choose the pace a little bit to start. There we go, good boy. I'll let him out there. I don't want to get in a pulling fight with him. Come on. You know, if I don't give him something to pull on, we're not in a fight. Good, that was nice. Look at him, he's got that. He decided, oh yeah, I'm out in the rope a bit and him is stepping backwards, I'll just turn. That's pretty nice. You know, I want a horse that when I want to turn, I just turn. If I want to change direction, I don't want to stop between. Good boy, steady now. Okay, normally I would have followed him a bit, but I don't want to bowl the camera over. Good boy. You know, this fella's going to have a little bit of ability. He's pretty athletic little bloke, and he's nicely put together. You can watch him when he moves. He's already starting to gauge a little bit. He's just a foal, but, you know, there, that's pretty damn nice. Okay, so that would be all I'd do for a session. You know, I might go and give him a brush now. I've got him tying up, so, you know, we'll tie him up and let him stand and give him a brush and do some of the more matter-of-fact things that we've got to do with our horses every day. Thank you.